Won't he do it? What's going on, everybody? This your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33 tonight. Tonight we get to break down thought energy. And tonight is Freaky Friday, or Financial Friday, September the 23rd, 2022. And the time is a little after 9 Central. We're going to jump right in. We're going to talk about thought energy. The reason why this is important, like all of these shows, when it comes to transformation instead of transaction, when it comes to establishing, your frequency, wave of vibration, the law of attraction is always mentioned, but it should be the law of thought. Thought energy, or the law of thought. So there's thought underneath thought. That's what we call energy. So everything is in motion, as we all know. Everything vibrates in this frequency wave of vibration. So since everything is in a state of movement or a state of vibration, what causes that state of movement or that state of vibration? The cause of the state of movement and the state of vibration is electricity and magnetism, or what we call thought. Now, there is a constant state of vibration that is established by a constant, dominant, ruling disposition. If there isn't a constant, dominant, ruling disposition, then we have disharmony. We have cognitive dissonance because there isn't a constant, dominant, ruling disposition. And it's extremely important that you establish this constant, this dominant, this ruling disposition. Because if there isn't no constant, dominant, ruling disposition, then we have a state of disorder. We have a state of disharmony. We have a state of dis-ease. In fact, there are 7 DISs. That's just 3. And I've done many shows. I put this inside of my book that talks about, the book, The Ultimate Secret of Being Rich, excuse me, talks about this as well. But for tonight, we don't want to focus on the 7 Ds of disorder. We want to really focus on understanding the underlying thought of thought. As we've been doing and talking about the problem of problems, this is the understanding of the cause of cause. This is cognitive therapy, if you want to use that term. So you are the field or the vortex based upon whatever constant, dominant, ruling, mental disposition, spirit that you establish. So you create your own spirit, and then your spirit creates you, because that's what that vibration. So this is the frequency of thought. The frequency of thought is that the law of attraction responds to the frequency of thought. So the law of attraction is a secondary law, even though everybody talks about the law of attraction as if it's a first or cause. It's kind of like the law of magnetism. But all of the laws come from the law of vibration or the law of thought energy. But the law of thought is not a law. So that's why a lot of people suffer, because the law should be the law of thought. What is the thought of thoughts? So it's kind of like man looks on the outward appearance, God looks on the heart. So it's really intention. So the thought of thought, meaning that there is pre-thought. Now we know that there's pre-thought because there was a movie like Premonition, and then there was another movie with your boy Tom Cruise that was arresting people before they committed the crime based upon precognition. So precognition is simply meaning that everybody has an intention before they take action. We all do. Now, whether we talk about it, we mention it, we write songs about it, that's another 30% of the time. So, excuse me, the thought of thought is crazy. Because when you have a thought, there is a thought that generates that thought. That's the thought of thought. That's the law of thought. And it is this law of thought, this thought of thought, that we should be addressing. And if you had to label it as a term, precognition would be labeled intention. So everybody has a motif, if you want to use that term, a motive. Now, everybody's motif is different. My motif is different from your motif or my motive. And so we're jogging along. Even your intention is based upon indoctrination, but even your indoctrination is based upon gene expression. So gene expression is this genetically, I'm going to use the word predisposition. So we all have this genetic predisposition. We'll say it again. We all have this genetic. Now we use epigenetics. So this is the genetics of genetics. This is the law of thought of thought. Now, this should be in one of the private pay-per-view shows, but because it's so important, I need to put this out there in the ether, post it on TikTok. It'll be there for about a year or two once the algorithm catches up, and then it'll get flagged for medical misinformation and need to be deleted. So I'm good for a year or two based upon the current, history of how they are deleting my shows. So epigenetics is the ability for you to use your thought of thought, your intention, to change your genetic predisposition. So this is crazy because just like in the movie Premonition, or in the movie that I was telling you guys, I forgot the name of it. The one with Tom Cruise, I don't know when you guys know. So the kid watched, what was the name of that movie? With Tom Cruise, his character was arresting people before they committed the crime. It's an older movie. I've got the name of it, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about. And in that movie, it's very, very interesting. I was talking with the family members today, and they were talking about patriarchal society and matriarchal, and one of the female members of the family was expressing that they believe that it would be better in a matriarchal, kind of, hyenas are a matriarchal society, lions are a patriarchal society, silverback gorillas are, you got the big male silverback gorilla who runs but in hyenas, so which one's Minority Report? There it is. Minority Report. Thank you, Sister Paulette. Minority Report. In that movie, Minority Report, interesting word, Minority Report. Minority. Not majority, minority. So that implies that there was a small number of people who were having precognition. They were having thoughts that was coming either from a predisposition in their genetics, or from epigenetics, or from intention. That's thought of thought. That's the genetics of genetics. So everybody talks about the law of attraction, the law of magnetism, the law of one. All of these are secondary laws, really, to the law of thought. But there is no law of thought. But these are secondary laws to the law of frequency. But there should be a law called the law of thought. Because energy states that everything is moving and everything vibrates. So since everything is in a constant state of vibration, attraction responds to the vibration. So everybody's using the law of attraction already. You can't learn the law of attraction. You are the law of attraction based upon your vibration. Man, I don't know if hopefully y'all following me. So what are you vibrating right now, today? So today you ordered tomorrow based upon your vibration of today. Now it may take a little bit longer for your order to show up. So how did you vibrate today? Were you vibrating on the frequency of your bills today? Well, you're going to get more bills tomorrow and the next day. So tonight and every night you have to vibrate on the frequency of the thought that you want more of, regardless of reality. Man, so how do you do that? Because that's smoking gun. So smoking gun is disorder, disharmony, disease comes from a lack of a constant, dominant, ruling disposition. If you don't have a constant, dominant, ruling disposition, let me grab me some water right quick. Then you're in trouble. So what does that mean? How do you establish this constant, dominant, ruling disposition? You don't. It's already established. Oh, because remember what we're talking about, everything vibrates automatically. So then, what is the law of vibration of vibration? Ooh-wee. Oh, man. This is that word magic. This is that stuff that hurts your brain. Sorry for you guys have to grab me some water. So what are you saying? Well, as a metaphysician, this is where I live at. This is what I do all day. I just break down using etymology, biology. Okay, let's go. So the etymology of biology is what we're talking about. So if you are listening to me right now, and if any so-called problem exists, it's because you have that vibration. Since the law of attraction is used by the dominant culture to keep you trapped, because you can't, there's no such thing as a law of attraction. Meaning, the law of attraction is an effect. The law of attraction isn't a cause. Now, you gotta think for a moment. Man, I hope somebody at the door. What happens if you don't think? Well, you miss the forest for the trees. Was somebody at the door? Could you just check? I heard the dog barking, so I was just making sure nobody's outside. Hang on a second, you guys. I just want to make... Nobody's out there? What's he barking at? Oh, well. Anywho. Nobody's outside. The dog was going crazy. But there's an animal running around. Kind of a new neighborhood, and so we still got some critters running around. So the reason why transformation doesn't take place is because we're focusing on transactions. Me too. So if I'm in a crunch and I need to generate money, I focus on money. Instead of focusing on what causes money to flow. Because when I make money, anytime I had when I think back to the $30,000 days, the $50,000 months, that's when I was having the most fun. I wasn't pressing. I was pressing, but the press wasn't for paper. It wasn't for transaction. It was for transformation. So what is the transformation of transformation? Okay, that gets into what we talked about today, which means I had a love of my craft and my country. when we got into Lovecraft Country. That's what that series was about. That's what it was about, magic. So magic means that I love my craft and my country. That's what I was telling everybody. Hey, you should be able to strip down buck naked, stand in front of a mirror, and you should really, honestly, no fluff. You should be, whether you 450 pounds or whether you are, 100 pounds. That's what God, that's your frame. That's the body God gave you. That's your genetic. Now you can change it. You can add to it. You can take it away from it. But right now, today, everything starts with a self-acceptance, self-love. So transformation starts with unified feeling of self. That means your head, your heart, and your gut love yourself. So you got to love your craft. That's your purpose. And you got to love your country. That's yourself. Love, craft, country. And what was the whole series about? Magic. So you can't do magic if you don't love your craft and your country. I ain't talking about your physical country. I'm talking about you, your body. You got to love your body because you're in it. That's why it's interesting that vibration means that there's a thought mechanism, for lack of a better term, again, because these terms are not taught. The dominant culture just says the law of attraction, but attraction responds to vibration. So the law of attraction is the secondary law. The law of vibration is the first, but the law of vibration is not a law. The law of vibration, it should be called the law of thought. But thought is not a law either. It's the thought of thought. So it should be the law of intention. But then intention is not a law either. So again, we use etymology. So it should be the law of predisposition. Because I'm genetic and so are you. I was born with a script. Already it's called my DNA. Anybody don't have DNA? What is DNA? DNA is a set of instructions that tell the body what to do. Okay, is that not predisposition? Is there anybody that doesn't have DNA? So you are born, and it's interesting because electricity is spirit and body is magnetism. So spirit can be changed. Therefore, magnetism, what you attract, can be changed. So now we're going back to what I've been teaching for 20 years, ruling disposition. What is ruling disposition? Well, that's what, God has showed us the West majors in. What is a major? Constant, dominant, ruling disposition. Singleness of mind. Oneness. The law of one. So, let me make sure you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying to you right now, you are vibrating. You're not aware that you're vibrating. Because I'm talking about your ANS now, the automatic nervous system. Is there anybody on this call that can do or that understands how my boy Wim Hof jumps in water or drinks poisonous stuff and uses his mind to stop the poison from killing his body? Can anybody explain to me how does Wim Hof, if you can take me a short sentence, how does Wim Hof increases his core body temperature while decreasing his external temperature? Anybody? What is the neuroscience behind mind control? See, everything already before you and I got here, and when you and I leave, vibration is already here. Vibration is not created or destroyed. There's different layers of it. If you could learn what Wim Hof learned, what I've learned to a lesser degree, so I'm not interested in cold water training. No, I'm not interested in impressing people with, laying on a bed of nails or walking on fire. I'm interested in paying my light bill on time. I'm interested in being able to walk up a flight of stairs when I'm hungry. I'm interested in making sure that when I transition, I just go to sleep and it's just a smooth transition. That I don't have no pain and aches. I'm interested in making sure that I can solve all problems because of my wisdom. So because I'm establishing that intention, my brain is drawing to me a specific alpha brainwave state instead of a beta brainwave state. So my bioplasmic field, my aura, is attracting. So vibration attracts, or attraction responds to vibration. So the question again is, how does Wim Hof establish his vibration? Again, constant, dominant, ruling disposition. Well, I like the way Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it. When we talk about the laws, if you want to use that term, of the universe, and Sister Colette has a great question that says, how many laws are there technically of the universe? Because when we look at the laws of the universe, depending on who you talk to, there's 7. The 48 laws of power are based upon the laws. 48. So that's 48 laws of power. Some say, and I tend to more agree with 12 times 12, where we got the number in the book of Revelation, because I have 12 times 12, which is 144, because that's how the 12 verbs that I have in my life optimization circle, which is a lot of them are repeated: 3, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 9. And I multiplied because the 3, that 1, let's use the word creativity. Well, the word creativity has 12 words that describe it. And we could add another 12 that describe that 12. And we could go on to infinity, excuse me, and beyond. So my personal belief is the 144. That's why it's in the book of Revelation. So now, the laws of the universe, if we say that there's 144 of them, they differ for each person. Because my 144 attributes and characteristics is different from Sister Colette, or different from Sister Kiwanis, or Dr. Span. So everybody has their own personal, unique set of laws that govern your universe, because you are an individual universe unto yourself. That's why it's called universe. And remember, we already broke down, because we talked about like the omniverse. And we broke this down when we were talking about the People Development Center. And we was going through the different verses that was inside of like the multiverse, the omniverse, macro, microverse, kind of like with Dr. Strange. So back to Sister Colette's question, nobody really knows, because everybody establishes their own universal laws. Now, on that question, what laws are promoted? So the dominant culture gives us the laws that keep us slaves, which are the 7 hermeneutic laws. Because remember, regardless of culture, we were supposed to be created as a slave race. So they gave us slave laws. So when people talk about, this is why I'm not a fan of, melanin. Or, no, I'm not against melanin. Melanin is awesome. But melanin is not crystals. It's not magnetite. In other words, melanin makes you a good fit for this dimension. Okay, but I'm not from here, nor am I going to stay here. I'm going back to, I'm spirit. I'm not carbon. So, I'm not 666. But I am 666. I'm trapped in 66. Carbon is a good container. So if you want to stay in prism, PRISM, okay, then you promote black power. You promote carbon and melanin. It's great for capturing light and sound. It's a great container to capture what is called crystal light energy, or the language of light, which gets into vortex mag, what we call spirit. So to stay on topic though, these light codes are organized by your DNA sequencing that's established by your individual DNA. And no two people have the same DNA. Remember, this gets into what is called radioionics. And this gets into spintronics. For the sake of tonight's study, you have to understand that you use the laws to transcend the laws. So start with the laws that's given to us by the dominant culture. Then when you get to the place where you can't pay your bills on time, access all knowledge, become one with source, so on and so forth, then what do you do? Well, you transcend those laws. So now how do you transcend those laws? Well, you have your own laws written inside of you called your DNA. So source code gave you 144 frequencies, waves, and vibrations. And what do you do with those 144 frequencies, waves, and vibrations? Well, you activate your bioplasmic aura or your bioplasmic field. That just simply means that now that you understand that thought energy, which is electricity and magnetism, which is the thought of thought, that is behind thought. That is like in the movie, The Minority Report. So before you have the thought, you have the thought. But you can't pick it up because it's what? Part of your automatic nervous system. So what controls the automatic nervous system? Well, science calls that unconscious. Why is it unconscious? Because you're not paying attention to it. It's not that it's unconscious because you're not aware of it, but it's unconscious because you're not aware of it. What does that mean? That means my heart is beating, but if I stop and if I listen, if I put two fingers on my wrist, boom, 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 I can feel my heart beating. I can become aware of my heart. Now, Wim Hof can control his heart by using his mind to visualize his heart and using his internal vocal, because your body must follow your command, because your command is your vibration. Now, let me say this again real slow. I don't know. I've always used this power for evil from the perspective of selfishness. I never taught this because I really didn't understand it until I just sat down, got to a place where I could afford to not, quote unquote, work, pay all my bills 6 months, a year up in advance, and then I could do what the white folks do. The name of the game at the top of the level, top, 1%, the Joe Bezos, the game is thought. What does that mean? Freedom to think. So the dominant culture, they work hard so their way to have freedom to get on their yacht, drive out to their own, Epstein Island, and sit in their hammock and have a whole fucking staff wait on them hand and foot. They don't even have to wipe their own butt if they don't want to. And what are they doing? We think that they're out there just funning and sunning and, they probably doing that too. But why do they want freedom? So they can think uninterruptedly. Because when I say think, I mean connect with source, whoever that may be, because everybody's definition of source is different. But the ability to get spiritual downloads, that's why they are always ahead of the curve. So the Elon Musk and all these everybody said, like the young Nigerian guy, he said that God, he had a thought. My boy Antoine LaVey, I think it was Antoine LaVey or Alex Equality, they had, the little dude appeared to him. Tesla said the same thing. But they was in a place where they could receive. Wealth is a place where you can receive. So if you're out in the woods, camping, hugging trees, and it puts you in your, depending on who you talk to, Zen, gamma brainwave, theta brainwave state. That's the state where your brain, now some people use psychotropic drugs to do that. As I know before, without even having to do it, the psychotropic drugs have a deity. So depending on what tool you use, you got to pay the deity. It's interesting if you watch like all the movies, like the one, I think was it Sinbad? It was one anyway. They was going through the ferry. I think it's the one where it wasn't Hercules. Anyway, one of those movies where they go in and they go out of different places, but they had to pay to cross this bridge to get to Medusa to fight, blah blah blah. In other words, this is called the law. That's, it talks about this in Full Metal Alchemy. So the law of mutual exchange. So if whatever you want to receive, you must give something of equal value. So if you understood, which we all do, and we all will as we continue, because this is all I'm talking about for the rest of this year, to get everybody to think like people who have time to sit and not worry because all their bills is paid, they're in good health, they have access to quantum computers to answer any question, or they can go talk to a Tibetan monk or whoever their guru is, because remember, facts, what are facts? Facts is nothing but the place where you go to get your information. Clash of the Titans, that was it. Thank you. Who's that? So the kid Walter? In the movie Clash of the Titans, they had to, first of all, they went through the three blind witches. Everywhere old boy went, in order to get information, he had to pay for it. Now, we pay with attention. And there's many different ways that we pay, but primarily it's energy. So what I'm saying is, you, in order to get to the place of financial freedom, which is, I'm just going to go out on a limb and I'm going to take a risk and assume, because I've had a few clients who told me that they don't want money and that money was evil. That, like on this call. And it wasn't said that way. It was just said in a biblical way, Well, brother, the love of money is the root of all evil. But I like money. So what you're saying is you will always be broke. Because what you're saying is, I have cognitive dissonance when it comes to money. Meaning I'm not clear. Remember, the universe only flows through a clear vibration, because the vibration must be constant and it must be dominant. It must be ruling. And it must be able to diss all other positions. It must be a disposition. That's a spirit. So a spirit is something that's constant. And remember, all rich people have this. But it's in the back of their brain. They're thinking about all of the other stuff. They're living their best life. But trust and believe. In the back of their brain, they got their business on their mind. Now, even when they go off and take breaks, they do exactly what I did this year. They pay everything up in advance to wipe their brain slate, to take a brain dump or detox, to clear the brain, wipe the slate clean, because the economy has changed. They need to come up with a new, what we talked about today, unique marketing position based upon a new unified field of thought, so they can bring to the market a mind-shifting or market-changing message. The market has changed, y'all. So y'all can't come to the market. You can't write a book that is not life-changing, because you'll be broke. Because it's too many books out there. There's too many online courses. Everybody's fighting for limited resources. So you got to stand out. But you can't stand out because you're already standing out. So you already vibrate. So the law of attraction is really not what we should be talking about because you're already attracting. Look at what you got in your life. Look around. Look what you got. That's what you're attracting. So now we know that your thoughts right now, everything is in a constant state of vibration. And you are attracting, or everything around you is responding to you. So attraction responds to vibration. So what is your vibration? Okay, look at your attraction. If there's limited resources, your vibration is limited. What does that mean? That means you got a money block. Because remember, lack is not a thing. Lack is the absence of a thing, as we talked about earlier today. So now we know that there's a lack of a constant, dominant, ruling vibration. So well, that's good because we got to the root of the problem. So now we know that poverty means that you have not mentally accepted your dominance. You have not mentally accepted your constant, dominant, ruling disposition. That's your purpose. But you're saying the love of my purpose is the root of all evil, so I can't let my purpose die. So I'm gonna take a vow of poverty. Why? Because you went to the preacher. And the preacher told you, if you accept yourself, if you got big titties and you accept your big titties, and you wear short, or you wear tight-fitting clothing, you wear low-cut blouse just like everybody else. You want to go in and get into a wet t-shirt contest too. And everybody's looking at you. And if you don't give a fuck, then you in trouble. Why? If they got a problem with the titties, they can take it up with God. Unless they fake. So if you can't talk freely like I'm talking, you got to take that shit up with God. Why? You got a money block. So money block means there's morality instead of causality. So you got morality. So what is morality? Morality means you got somebody else's narrative in your head. You've heard something. Remember how you got it though? Frequent, intense teaching. That's why I got to go to church every Sunday and Bible study on Wednesday so I can drill that shit in your head. You are a worthless sinner. Transformation is not happening for you, boo-boo. So that's the plan, and it's working like clockwork. So what your job is to be transformed. How? By the renewing of your mind. What we talked about earlier today. But what are we transforming? Your vibration. So what is your vibration? Look around. What you got in your life. Or, more importantly, I think it was Sister Kill Watson who posted something today about pay attention. Why does the word pay always precede the word attention? Newsflash, it ain't free. Attention is not free. Attention, that's money. Attention is our currency, brothers and sisters. So wherever you direct or focus your energy or your attention, bam, energy flows where attention goes. So my job is to make you aware, man, I'm already using the law of attraction. I can't learn it. I am it. You can't learn something that you already are. You just can only become aware of it. You already are. So when they came up with The Secret, it wasn't no secret. Oprah and all of them came up with The Secret, and they made millions of dollars telling you something that you already know. Church still doing it. So the law of attraction, The Secret, come on, man. That shit's not new. That's old news. But to us, because we never heard it, man, we stocking it up, not knowing that that's prison. So prison is lower level principles. They're principles, so they're not lying. They're just not telling you the principles that they operate on, which is the principle of the law of thought, the law of influence of influence, the law of problem, or the supreme law, which is the law that time, space, and matter doesn't exist unless you're not having fun, which is the acronym for focusing unconditionally now. You control the vibration you're in, but nobody has taught us how to change the vibration we're in, which is the point of the class that we're doing. Tomorrow we do day 6, where we get to reveal, explain, illuminate, and simplify. Now, we always focus on information, inspiration, influence, implementation, transformation. Tomorrow, we got the smoking gun, manifestation. Man, I fest. So, or feast. If you're not feasting, then you're not a man. So tomorrow, we get to drop in a pay-per-view class that you must love craft and country. You must love your craft and your country. When you do that, that gives you a very unique, persistent position. It never goes away. You are always in that position. You're outside of time now. Because in that unique position, that's your purpose, everywhere you go, you shift people's patterns. Because your pattern, you're like an albino tiger in the wild. You're the only white tiger. All the other tigers is orange and black or whatever color tigers are. And you walk around like an albino tiger. So all the attention is, who the fuck is that? All the attention is on you. Why? You have a unique position in the market. How did you get that unique position? For becoming one by being constant, dominant, ruling, and disposition based upon your genetic predisposition and epigenetics, which is a fancy way of saying you just unleashed your inner gorilla, as I talked about a couple of days ago. So, my question to everybody on the call tonight, what is your dominant frequency? Can somebody explain that to me? Or not explain it? Can somebody text me now? We used Dr. Arlene Span as an example a couple of shows ago. You guys remember? And so, I know Dr. Span knows her dominant frequency. So my only question to Dr. Span is, how has she chosen to express, expose, and expand her dominant frequency? Because then we talked about it today as well. We were talking about everywhere she goes, she can't get rid of the most pressing problem, which is caring has been used as a weapon to keep her in prison. So that means caring now is her weapon to get out of prison. So she must monetize caring, because everybody's begging her, please take my money or I will give you money if you care for me. So instead of allowing care to continue to whoop that ass the same way it does me, she should get paid. Why do I get paid? Because I get paid to care. But I monetize caring. So what? Well, I'm for the underdog. All my life I've been for the underdog. I don't know why. I've been trying to get out of it, but no matter what, it's like a magnet. I can't help myself. I see somebody in need, I won't help them. Now, I just get paid. Because I find people in need. What are they in need of? They got fucking air. They feel Christmas. So I find them. And know what I do? I tell them, you might want to do some research, boo. You know what they say? First of all, first time they hear it, fuck you, doc. You're going to die and go to hell, bro. That's usually the first response. After about 5 years of poverty, sickness, pain, agony, I eventually get a text or a call. And it's always interesting. Nobody comes to me except the last resort. Almost everybody I connect with, it's after they said that prayer that I tell you guys that I prayed. Because that's why I got here. I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I just was sitting at home in an empty apartment and I said, shit, man, if this is it, fuck, I'm ready to go. I could die tonight. So I said, God, either you, if you will, you need to find me. Because I've been looking for you and I know if this really is God, shit, man, you can keep that. I'm going to go serve the devil. I'd rather go to hell than go and hang out with this dude. Because there's no way that my childhood and my whole life, while following people with Bibles, and this is it. That's far as we got. And I know nobody who's gotten any further. I know people who fake. Because remember, I was a good faker too. Just like everybody else. This is why I love it. I love talking to folks because I'm a real dude. Because all my family's still faking. Because I asked them, what is your dominant frequency? Jesus Christ and Him crucified. No, that's His dominant frequency. What's yours? Oh, I'm here to spread the gospel, brother. No, that's not why you're here. The gospel's already been spread. The crusade, they said, you become a Christian or we fucking kill you. That's how Christianity got here. Y'all need to go back into your history. I mean, not you personally. If people had a choice, Christianity wouldn't exist. So the Knights Templars went around and killed people that refused to convert. Y'all might you might want to do a little history. So what happened to free will? What happened to love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, self-control? See, that's why I'm here. So my brother was listening to the message of the night. He's a pastor. He said to me, man, bro, I have the same disdain. Remember, I don't like the word anger. I have the word disdain. And like I told you the other night, my disdain is not necessarily directed at, I'm going to use the word, the church. My disdain is directly more at let's go back, the interpretation. Because interpretation determines the quality of implementation. Improper interpretation will result in improper implementation, which will result in improper transformation, which will result in a lack of manifestation. Ding, ding, mother blank, blank, ding. This is etymology. Remember, we're talking about the problem of the problem of the problem. Tonight we're breaking down the law of thought, which is the law of influence. So it goes 7 layers. So if you really, really want to get to Z, instead of King James, you got to go 7 layers deep. 7 is number of completion. So the law of thought. I think that's 7. And you can put any word in there, whether it's the law of attraction, and you just keep going. But when you do the 7 meet that. So 7 times 7 is 49. So the next year is the year of Jubilee. You sit in your Bible too. It's the Jewish Shemitah. That's where I'm at. The year of Jubilee. That's the year you don't plant, you don't do shit, everything taken care of. You let the land rest. That's what the dominant culture do. So the dominant culture have gotten themselves to a life of Jubilee. Well, your ass has been on the plantation, working like a fucking Hebrew slave. I mean, not you personally, of course, but So I'm in the year of Jubilee. Or the lifetime of Jubilee. So how did I get here? Well, I asked myself questions 7 times. 7 times 7. So when I wake up in the morning, if I'm not feeling myself, I say, self, why are you tired, bruh? Myself say, well, we went to bed late last night. I said, well, what the fuck you go to bed late last night? You go to bed anytime you want. Not like you report to anybody. You write your own schedule. I said, well, shit, I was downloading some good information. And then you say, okay, why would you download good information? Because I want to assist people with transformation. Okay, why the fuck do you want to assist people with transformation? Fuck them, Negro. They don't like you anyway. Well, I want to help them because, like me, I know that they are good people. They just got a bad interpretation. They suffer from a lack of gnosis. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So, why are you interested? Because I'm fucking designed to care because I'm sick. Oh, so the chemicals in my brain says, oh, fuck that, we're not tired. You don't have to get up at right now. Like this morning, shit, I didn't do my morning workout. Why? Because I had got up all day early with wife, and then I promised her since we didn't get a chance to go to Lowe's. I don't know if y'all saw the little Facebook video. You know, she loves working out in the garden and stuff, so we got up early this morning, went when everybody else did what? Walked around, spent more money buying this fountain for the backyard, blah, blah, blah. Well, I got help us set it up. So that tells my brain, oh, that's why. Because you lost your schedule. So pull back on the rigid workout. Pull back on this. Pull back. Make allowances. Because guess what? The shows go on. So you got to work around it. So I told her, hey, I can go to Lowe's, this, that, and other, but I can be back and do my pay-per-view show, which I did earlier today, and tonight's show. What's the point, Doc? What's the point? I can answer anything if I ask myself why 7 times. Anything. Ask me any question. You can do the same thing. Try. I highly recommend, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. When you wake up tomorrow morning and you got more bills than money, ask yourself, why the fuck I got more bills than money? Now, you already know why, but you just want to verify for yourself. Because I know why. You know why you got more bills than money. Because you've been living a life by making choices and decisions that you know you shouldn't make. But you made them anyway. So source codes don't care. Because you know what source code says? Shit, you can have what you say. So the only way you can have more bills than money is because you made it okay for you to take a break from creating or producing or aligning with money. Because remember, you can't earn the money, you can't make money, you can't even create money. You can just align with money. So what that means, change vibration. So you on a vibration, you're having a thought that is attracting more bills than money. How about you start having a thought that attract more money than bills? Okay, Doc, I like that. How the fuck do we do that? The same way you are doing it right now. What are you doing right now? Anybody? Everybody got money coming in from somewhere. Even if you don't got money coming in, you had money coming in. So when you had money coming in, where's it coming from? Some people come from unemployment. Okay? You was on a thought that said, I got fired, I got laid off, I deserve unemployment. So you went to apply because you got a thought that said I was working. Now I'm not working. So there's this thing called unemployment. Now remember, I did this when I was homeless. I was homeless. I said fucking homeless. But I'm a veteran. I had a thought. Where the thought comes from? The thought came from me sitting in my car in the middle of the night, driving around trying to keep my car from getting repoed, sleeping out in the parking lot of Walmart. And 24 hours of health and fitness because there was cars out there because somebody was in the gym. So I had to find places that stayed open 24 hours where the cops was riding around flashing light. Yeah, boy. You lost? Why are you sleeping in your car, son? Tried to park where it wasn't suspicious. So while I was sleeping in my car, while I was homeless, I had a thought. Where the fuck did it come from? I ordered it. How did I order it? Because I had a thought that says, I need to be unhomeless. I had a thought. And that thought in my brain, I didn't call nobody, I didn't ask nobody, I was just thinking in my head. See, this is what the white folks do. So the white folks, they put themselves in a position where they can talk. Black folks can't talk. Why? We stress the fuck out. Why we got bills? We got more bills than talk. So the whole game, get your ass in a place where you can talk. However that is. Or whatever that is for you. Now once you get to a place where you can talk, think, then you gotta ask the right questions. Wrong questions get the right answers. Then you gotta stop playing. So if you got a problem, that means you're asking the wrong fucking question. Because guess what? All questions get answered correctly. If you talking to the big G. Focus-based reality. That's where I live. My feet is firmly planted on the ground, but my head in the clouds, bruh. So what do you do, Doc? Well, I recommend you do what I did and what I do now. which is I ask my brain. Now remember, when you ask the brain, source, God, these questions, the answer ain't going to come the way you expect. I'm trying to help y'all tonight. I've never asked or thought, like, how in the blank, do I get access? I thought I had to work like you. I thought I had to earn. I thought I had to pray. I thought I had to, I'm going to use the word, ponder. I didn't realize I just had to breathe. I didn't know. And it's crazy because everybody on this call is making the same mistake I made. It took me 50 years to figure this out. Figure out what? Wealth is your birthright. Health is your birthright. Knowledge is your birthright. Wisdom is your birthright. Great relationship is your birthright. The mere thought separates you from money. Thought separates you from money. But who told you the thought? You went to school, you learned to pray. Ooh, that fucked you up right there. When you praying, what is that? If you asking for something, that means you ain't fucking got it. You disrespecting Source. Because Source said, I have given you everything. You're supposed to wake up and do what I do every morning. I go outside, I put my feet in the dirt, I look up at the sky, and if the sun is out, thank you. Y'all know how y'all do those old Baptist churches, when those old mothers will get the Holy Ghost. Thank you. That's what y'all should be doing every morning. Why? You already fucking won. Did you wake up this morning? If you woke up, you already won. So you got to align your mind with already won. So I already won. Every morning I wake up, my brain says, Negro, you ain't shit. You better go get a job. And I tell my brain, fuck you, I already won. And I go about my day. Every day. Tomorrow, I wake up tomorrow, same thing. Demons, devils, whatever you want to call it, the lower vibration will come back and say, yo, boy, you want some more of this poverty? Yeah, I know you want this poverty. Come on back over here to Egypt. And I said, nope, I've already been to Egypt. Thank you. I'm in the promised land. My crystals are activated. As we talked about in day one of this series. Already activated. That's the trick. Man, it's so smooth, though. It took me 50 years to figure it out. The mere fact that you have a thought, that you have a need, is disrespectful to God. If you want to use the word God. Because even the word God is disrespectful to God. See, we don't, source is the cause, is not the morality. So I need you to understand, man, all the numbers come from the number zero. That's why very few people use zero when it comes to life optimization. That's why I'm one of the only people that uses the number zero. So my biorhythm, and you can go to the doctor and they can take your biorhythm, your cardiac rhythm. They can show your cardiac rhythm. The last time I went to the doctor at the VA, I haven't been in a while because Centurious, I always mess that word up. I've told you guys again, and I'm not trying to brag or boast. This is by grace. God's riches at Christ's expense. That there are 7 things that my boy from Harvard, Dr. David Sinclair, talks about. I mentioned that earlier. He's a biologist. And he has a book out, a few books. Harvard done all of this study on reverse aging. Everything that's in that book, I've been doing since pretty much 13. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. Because remember, Tonight is a free message. We've been doing a pay-per-view message. We're on day 6. We start tomorrow. I just talked about my boy, Daniel David, and I just did a YouTube video, and I put Daniel David in there. I put Sister Addie's image in there. I tell you guys, I did the Sister Cheryl West videos. Go back 6 months on Facebook and look at Sister Cheryl. Go to Sister Cheryl West on Facebook. Look at her videos 6 months ago and look at her videos today. So Sister Cheryl West is like a supermodel now. What happened, Sister Cheryl? How come Sister Cheryl West used to look like, the Indian chick from, Podunk, Texas? Now she's walking out of fucking Rodeo Drive on Hollywood. Sister Cheryl, what changed, Sister Cheryl? Ladies, I've been telling y'all this, man. That's why I can't do Podunk. I can't do organized Christianity. We'll put it, because I got an individual expression. I got an individual, private, productive relationship with the big G. Totally different from what most people that I meet and talk to got. But everybody I meet and talk to, they still pray. Praying is an insult. Because you got to remember what the definition of the word means. When we look at the definition of the word, God loves a cheerful giver. That shit is in your Bible. I looked it up. We broke it down. So everybody knows that a cheerful giver means you got a fucking head full of your purpose. That's what it means. It ain't got nothing to do, because energy is thought. You're supposed to pay tithes off with your fucking brain. We already looked it up. So remember why I'm cursing them. Because y'all remember I cursed for a purpose. Why? Because I was a religious idiot who believed that cursing meant lower intelligence. So I got to force myself out of that belief pattern, because it was given to me by reverends, doctors, and bishops. Any thought that goes unchallenged becomes your unconscious belief. That's why you are being ruled by shit you see on TV, and you don't even know they rewrote your script based upon Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Brown. Now, I don't give a fuck about religion. I only worry, if you don't use that term, conscious, aware, put my brain on shit that pay my light bill. That's it. As I told y'all, I am not a moral man. I'm a causality man. I'm a fruit inspector. Fuck the leaves. Show me the fruit. So you got, not you personally, but got a bunch of scriptures in one puzzle. That's cool. But I got one question for you. Show me your PayPal account. Show me your bank account. Now you should say backwards, the fuck that got to do, man? Where you always talking about money? Because I told you money is the indication of a level of spirituality. Because what is money? We already broke it down. Money is a constant, dominant, ruling disposition. If you're not constant, if you're not dominant, in other words, if you got a job, my sister Brenda has a job. Like my wife Dee, they get up every day and they go to their job. I tell you, my sister Brenda, last time we was talking about her last time. She been on her job 35 years. Shit, I ain't done shit for 35 years. Not constantly, not dominantly, not ruling, not what they did. I'm sure there's days that she don't feel like getting up. But what she do, she still get up and go. Why? So if you don't have a ruling disposition, now the Bible calls it a spirit. This is called force or focused-based reality. That's the world we live in. Now, when I talk to black people, they have no focus. They have no discipline, and they have no order. But when I talk to dominant culture, oh, they focused. They disciplined, and they live a very structured and orderly thought life. I'm not talking about physical. So let me make sure as we wrap this up that we all are on the same page. Because this is the difference between success and failure. When you talk, you are creating a vocal pattern in the subatomic atmosphere. Like it says in Hebrews 11, 1, 2, and 3. In the beginning, we know that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. By it, the elders of old received a good report. This is the W.E. Rogers version. And we also know that the worlds were framed by the word of God. The worlds are framed by the word. Since you are a generator, an operator, a director, you frame your word. So framework are systems. People pay for framework or systems. Let me tell you guys, I have 10 people, and I can make $100,000 from 10 people. Harvard came out with a study. If you got 100 people, you should be a millionaire. How many friends you got on your Facebook account, your Instagram, but you're not monetizing it? How come? Remember we talked about rock stars and rubies. So you don't have fans. Now, we broke this down earlier. Speed, clarity, confidence, money. If anybody want to understand how the spirit realm works, everything in the spirit realm already exists because there's no time, there's no space, there's no matter. So for time, space, and matter to exist, they must come into existence simultaneously because time cannot exist without space and matter, and space and matter cannot exist without time. So all three, that's the Holy Trinity. So you got to control that. You got to control time, space, and matter. How? You got to have fun. Why? Time flies when you're having fun. So are you having fun? People ask me that, like the wife was asking me the other day. On her birthday, same thing. I did shows. On my birthday, what I do? Shows. My daughter Shamora died. What I do? Shows. My dad died. What I do? Shows. Everybody else take sabbaticals. They take vacation. They look forward to retiring. People are looking forward to die to go to heaven. Fuck, I'm already in heaven. What is heaven? Heaven is, according to the definition, is a high state of mind. It's a mental disposition that says love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, self-control. Why? Against those things there is no law. So I can't retire. How can I retire? What am I retiring from? I've been retired. Because remember, vocation is vacation. So I'm on vacation. Because my vocation is my vacation. But I did what? I set my intention. How? Well, I already had 68 jobs. I already did 23 businesses that failed miserably. I've lost more money than the average snipper has ever made. Lost. I moved 25 times in my first marriage. Fuck, we was married 25 years. How the fuck do you move every year? That don't make niggas as dumb as I was. So when you talk to me, you're not talking about no nigga that was born last night. So yeah, my disposition is totally different from anybody that you'll ever meet. Because why? I ain't gonna fucking lie to you. Because I got money already. So I'm not here for no transaction, bruh. I'm here for transformation. So I'm not interested in no transaction. Although I'm going to get a transaction because I'm the only nigga that can get you to from point A to point B. TDJ can't help you. Creflo Dollar can help you. Joel Osteen can help you. Why? Ask Sister Cheryl where. Why is Sister Cheryl walking around like a supermarket? Energy. What is energy? I pump energy into Sister Cheryl. How? Products, services, and information. Ask your boy Daniel David. Now he's in Nicaragua. He got a whole retreat. I sat down with him. We did one-on-one. He took the life management system. 30 days later, he was taking the system. He dropped out. I said, man, what happened? He said, bro, I got everything I need. 30 days later, he popped back up on Facebook, him and his wife, and they in Nicaragua. They do retreats, making money hand over fist. My boy, Brother K, on the same thing. He went to the life management system. Zoom disappeared. He started a landscaping business. Like my boy, the Golden Grill yard man, Brother Gibbonay. When I met him, he was already grinding and shining. Ask Brother Gibbonay how much money he makes cutting fucking grass in Atlanta. Y'all heard him? I interviewed him on the credit thing. He's a landscaper. Some of y'all would be like, shit, I ain't cutting no fucking grass. You might want to consider it. You should talk to Brother Gibbonay. I'm betting he probably make more money than most everybody on this call cutting fucking grass. Because it ain't about the grass. It's about the disposition behind the grass. So you ain't got a problem. Remember, I don't fix problems. I fix thinking. Why? Because I didn't have no problems. I had fucked up thinking. I was thinking that Jesus was going to come down and do something for me. But last time I read the scripture, when he died on the cross, he said, it is finished. And he said, but I'm going to leave you with the comforter. Do y'all know what that is? Remember, I broke that down in 45 fucking languages on day one. The word comforter, the word Holy Spirit, the word ruach, the word pneuma, the word kundalini, the word anointing, the word etheric energy, the word life force, vital, prana, shaka, viral, tachyon, pi, chi, shakina, baraka, and we can go on and on. In every culture, the definition of all these words is the fucking same. And y'all over here, not you personally, but arguing and telling people who saying the same shit you saying in a different language that they're going to hell. See, man, we pass for lack of knowledge. Ain't no demons and devils. I tell you, the devil, man, I thought that chicken pina coladas freaking in the Grand Canyons. The devil don't have to work shit. Y'all doing his job for him. I mean, not you personally, but you know. But okay, Doctor, you said you was going to give us a smoking gun, brother. What's all of this huff and puff about? See, last night I was doing a show, my brother Glenn texted me and he said, bro, the same disdain that you have, I have when it comes to marriage. And he reminded me, I'm like, damn, bro, you know what I remember? He reminded me of his first wife. I ain't gonna say her name because, hey, she's still around. And he said, bro, I was there. I remember. We were facing together in the military. I remember he brought over to Japan for anything I did. So he brought over there 3 times. She left him and went back to some other dude. Then he brought her back up there. I said, Glenn, the fuck you doing, man? And I love her, bro. So the same way he got drugged in the area of relationships is the way I got drugged in the area of religion. So his disdain is marriage and relationships. So he's primarily, what is his unique marketing position? That people will pay him money, hands over fist, because he's the only one that can bring about a transformation in their life because his vocal expression and his visual framework, because he actually went through it himself. He didn't read that shit in the book. So if you got I'm talking about dark relationship problem, you should go talk to my brother Glenn. Why? Oh, he helped the people in relationships. Because the relationship that he was in, man, he might as well have been married to the devil in a female body. Because she drugged his ass. According to his own words, crushed his heart, chewed it up, gave it back to him, crushed it again, gave it back to it, crushed it 3 times, pissed on him and left him. Oh, he went through it in the area of relationships. Well, I went through it in the area of knowledge, specifically religion. So my question to you, as we close, what is your most pressing problem that you probably are still ashamed of? That's what you're vibrating right now to the universe. See, the law of attraction doesn't exist. The law of vibration does. But the law of vibration doesn't exist. The law of frequency does. But the law of frequency doesn't exist. The law of thought does. But the law of thought doesn't exist. The law of attention, we call it focus, does. But the law of focus or attention doesn't exist. The law of intention does. But the law of intention doesn't exist. The law of intent does. But the law of intent doesn't exist. The law of intensity or intensity, that's the causality of reality. Intensity. So when we peel back the layers, 7 layers deep, we find a causality of all reality. Dr. Bruce Lipton says it this way. A memory is an event. Do you know that you only remember events that burn a hole in your intent? Somebody should write that down. This will change your life forever. Go back in your memories. I have no memories of my childhood. I got to ask my brothers and sisters. They tell me that. Like my mom's funeral, shit, I don't much remember. I remember she died, and I know that there was a funeral, but I remember, I just remember standing outside of the church. I don't remember most of the events, like specifics, because the intensity I had already checked out. So when you have an event that is intense, that's a memory. Now, when you remember that specific memory more than once and you keep remembering talking about it, like somebody did you wrong, yeah, girl, like in relationships, y'all know how y'all ladies, y'all know how y'all do. So you talk about a memory that was very intense, that was very emotionally intense. That memory then becomes what is called a pattern. You keep remembering that pattern, it becomes what is called a thought form. Now, if you keep remembering that thought form, that becomes a personality. So your personality that you have right now used to be a memory. All your personality traits are old memories that have a lot of intensity. That's why it's part of your personality. So if you say everybody has personality quirks, one of mine is I'm very anal retentive about cleanliness. Now, part of it is just being a Virgo, but the other part of it is just not having my own space, never having my own stuff, always having my space violated, because I never had my own until I went into the Marines and finally got my room. In that beginning shit, we had a roommate. I didn't get my own bed until I was 21. That's crazy. Because my bonus kids, they've had their own bed since I met. Soon after me and Dee met, we moved to the new house. They got their own room. They had it 5 to 6. What I didn't get till I was 21. To me, that shit's crazy. But what are you saying? Well, that burned an image in my soul. So when I go up into their room and it's garbage, trash, I go the fuck off. And my wife is like, what you upset about? It's their room. You don't sleep in it. That's true. So why am I angry? I don't sleep in there. That shit is a part of my memory. That has that put an energy imprint in my soul that makes me angry because I never had. Because I'm thinking the shit there. I wish to God I could have I wish I had me as a father, the current me anyway. Now my family from first marriage, shit, Sade them telling me the same thing. Fuck that. You got your shit together, but it'd be great if you had your shit together when you was our dad. It's good that the bonus kids is living the dream, but what about us? Well, shit, I was young, dumb, and stupid back then. So your personality that you got right now, you think is yours? You know where it came from? All those memories that left a energy imprint in your soul. So what you should do? What part of your personality doesn't serve you anymore? You know what one part of my personality is? I was a hothead. I was an angry little dude. I had to go back and I had to find out why was I an angry little dude. Well, my mama died when I was little. Nobody hugged me. My biological father never said, son, I love you. Not your other siblings, I love them too, but he never said, really, E. Rogers, I love you. He went to his grave. I never heard those words come out of his mouth directly to me. Now, he may have told my siblings, because I asked my sister and said, yeah, he tells me I love you all the time. I go down there, I say, hey, Dad, I love you. Yeah, boy. That's all I got. But I knew he loved me, but shit, I just want to hear it. Well, I never got it. Now, you can look at that and say, well, that don't mean nothing. Or it does mean something. What is the point, Doc? What is the point? Well, I had to go back and take out the energy out of it. because that was creating money blocks. Why? Because that takes up mental real estate in my fucking brain. You only got a certain amount of space in your brain too. You only got a certain amount of neurons. And your neurons cannot be taken up by unsolved, unprocessed emotional trauma and drama. You got to go back and deal with all of that. That's called shadow work. Remember, we already talked about this before. So when people say, hey, Doc, I got a money issue. No, you ain't got a money issue. You got some unprocessed emotional issues. Because emotions is electricity and magnetism that controls your ocean. That's why it's called EM ocean. Electrical magnetic ocean. The body is made up of water. Your electricity and magnetism control that water. So you need to change the electricity and magnetism. How? Those thought forms, those tulpas, TULPA, remember we already talked about that before? Those are thought form beings that you created that are actually little people running around. And if you're not careful, they will turn into a teratoma in your body. Y'all call it a tumor. You should look up what could be in your body right now. T-E-R, I said an R like Texas. A-T-O-M-A. Teratoma. Teratoma. Then click on images. If that don't get your attention, does that not look like a little demon? I don't know what a demon would look like, but a little ball of mass with hair and teeth, it looks like a little person. Teratoma. Those tumors grow inside of people's bodies. If you type in teratoma cyst and then click on image, or you type in teratoma cyst with teeth, click on images, it's crazy. So what are you saying? I'm saying that mass started out as a thought that you didn't process over time. And it forms into like a little demonoid ovarian cyst. That's its real name. Demonoid. It's crazy. But what's the point? In order for you and I to oscillate, we got to operate in frequent, intense. I use the word training. You can use the word thinking. Or you can use the word teaching. Now, remember we already did that show on frequent, intense teaching. Why? That's how I'm able to maintain a constant state of vibration. So I do the shows more so for my ability because I have a lot of negative habit patterns that I'm still processing and removing. So in order for it not to mess up my money, because, hey, I like people playing around with my money. Only person that's messing up my money is me. Why? Because I believe, like you, that I got to work hard, because that's what people told me. Boy, you got to work hard, you got to go to school, all of that shit is right. Are you what? You were born rich. Rich is your birthright. Whatever your definition of rich, it's your birthright, according to the Bible, and every other ancient text. So how come everybody's got wealthy, healthy, wise, and then they told to it? You got a belief system. What's a belief system? A belief system is a thought that goes unchecked. You heard T.D. Jakes say, boy, you got to work hard. God ain't going to bless lazy people. And you never said, the fuck he ain't. He going to bless this one. Since you didn't challenge the thought is challenging you. Let me say that again. Every problem that's going on in your life right now is because of unchecked and unchallenged thought. 100 grand if you can prove it wrong. Stop doing shit and start being. You are a spiritual being. Life is so precious, man. Tomorrow's not promised to nobody. So I recommend tonight that you ask the Big G. Big G, God, Source, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, throw a title or label on it. Nobody hears the blank. You should ask the Big G, what unconscious, unchallenged, money-blocking thoughts do I have? Then pause, take out a pen and paper, and just go to sleep. Before you go to sleep, or if the Big G does you like you do me, you're going to wake up in about 2 hours, 3 hours, or like you do me, 3 o'clock, it's going to pop up wide awake. In your brain, you have to write it down immediately because the wipers, the controllers, and the handlers are at your bedside waiting to wipe your brain as soon as your ass wake up. So your job, my brother, your assignment, if you choose, remember you don't have to do this, because the law of attraction is already working in your life right now. The law of thought 7 times is already working right now. Everything that you have right now is the vibrational equivalent of your current vibration. Attraction responds to vibration. Attraction responds to your vibration. What you attract is based upon what you vibrate. What you attract, your money, your health, your wealth, your wisdom, is based upon your unique or your unified field, your most dominant thought, your unique position, your most pressing problem, and your mind-altering message. That is your true, authentic self. Let me say the big 3 one more time so that way you can shine. Your vibration, which you are in control of right now, and it changes every minute. Your job is to take conscious control over maintaining constant, dominant, ruling disposition. That's your job. You got one job, bring every thought into captivity. That's it. If you want to be wealthy, your job is to challenge unwealthy thought. When a thought comes into the brain that says, man, this shit ain't going to work. Oh, yeah, it is. It's going to work because I am going to make it work. I am going to figure it out. And you just go back to doing your day. You got to say it out loud? Absolutely not. You got to just walk around like being on hypervigilance? No. Your brain will make you aware of it because you're conscious of it. And you've already set your intensity based upon your intention, based upon your attention. So your attention is based upon what's important to you. So when you say challenging negative thought patterns is important to me, your brain writes that shit down and it will constantly monitor any thought that comes into your brain that doesn't align with what's important to you. So if you make health important to you, how do you make it important to you? Constant, dominant, ruling disposition. What does that mean in English? That just simply means that you sit down and you ask yourself, do I really want to be able to walk more flight of stairs when I'm 100? Do I really want to be in sound mind and body? Do I want to go to an old folks home because of dementia, or do I want to go peacefully in my own house? Like my dad, he was driving. Matter of fact, 3 days before he died, he was driving. He was in good health. He went to the doctor. 3 days later, he was dead. I don't know what they did to him in the day, but I know he came up with a bunch of medicine. And I told him, like, damn, man, every time he like 20 pills when I talked to him that Saturday night he died. He was on 13 pills. He went to the doctor, they gave him more. Every time he went to the doctor, they gave him more pills. He came back with that box of Ensure, like I told y'all, and Dasani water, like I told y'all. And I told him, hey, Dad, didn't Betty Sue come back with a box of Ensure and Dasani water? Because I already did the research on Ensure and Dasani water. What's the only kind of water you can get in the VA? Go to a VA hospital in the world, they only give you Dasani water. How much sodium is in Dasani water? Man, y'all better wake up, man. Ain't nobody dying. Niggas are getting killed. That night, my dad died. Why? He drunk some Ensure. What is that? Pure sugar. The doctor told him not to eat no sugar. And he drank the Dasani water. Doctor told him, watch your sodium intake. So why would they give him sugar and sodium? And I told him, boy, the doctor know what he's doing. Yes, sir. Got my black ass in my car, took my black ass home. See, you can lead a house to water, but you can't make it fucking drink. Man, I don't argue with people no more. You want to go to church, bro? Do you? Already been. You must establish a unified field that's connected to the real God that ain't on this fucking planet. Why? Nothing on this planet makes sense. Can you make sense of it? Y'all been paying attention to what's going on TV? Can you make sense of them Texas governors shipping people to Kamala Harris's house? Are you serious? The governor of Texas said, yeah, I did it. The governor of Florida said, no, I did it. They shipping illegal aliens. They said, yeah, but they're trying to prove what? Now, what if you do that? The black ass be in jail. How come they ain't been arrested? The governor of Texas said, now, I kind of like the dude. I mean, he pro-business. Him and Trump. But look at what they're doing, though. Is that a unified feeling of love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, and self-control? I don't think so. So you got to have that. You can't do what the governor of Texas is doing. You must be unified with the attributes and characteristics of God. That's number one. We did a whole 7-day series on how to physically feel. This is the problem I have with pretty much all Christians. Because they're saying one thing, but they're feeling. And the universe is based upon feeling. So you can't say love and feel hate. You can't. But everybody do. That's cognitive dissonance. That's why I did the show on cognitive therapy. Because that's what I did to myself. I examined my words and I examined my fruit. And I saw that what I was saying and what I was manifesting was not the same. So I aligned my mind with my God-given design. Number one, make sure that you align your mind with your God-given design. That just simply means whatever you use coming out of your mouth, you should be holding in your hand. If you're saying you are a man or woman of God, I ain't saying that. I am not mortal. I'm cause. That's totally different. So that's my unified field. I'm unified with cause. I'm not unified with effect. So I'm an etymologist. I break it down and I go back. What causes people to be good? What causes a man to steal? Okay, that's where I'm at. I don't care that he stole something. I'm asking him why he stole. Because he may have a good reason. Because God does that. Man is from the outward appearance. God is from the heart. So you judging me and other people by what they say or what they do instead of why. Because when we broke it all the way down, intensity of intent is cause. If there's no intention that creates intensity, that's called animation. That's called spirit. Spirit, when you receive the spirit, that's the animating principle of the body. The body can't get off the sofa if it don't have spirit. That is intense intention. So it goes back, what creates that? And we use the example of sex, because everybody can relate to that. That takes me to my position. What is my position? Everybody has a position. What's yours? What do you stand for? I have a very unique position. My unique position, I'm for the underdog. What does that mean? When I was a little kid, there was a little guy. His name was Bubba Anderson. We called him Bubba. His real name was Anderson McNeil. He's no longer on the planet. He had a sister. Her name was Doris McNeil. She's no longer on the planet. Some kind of way, I joined the military. I bumped into him in San Diego, California, all the way from Fort Texas. When we were little kids, I used to always pick up for Bubba because, I mean, he was a little different, but he was a cool dude. And I always would take up for the underdog. I don't know why. To this day, I still do the same thing. That's what gets into the weapon I carry. That's my unique position. I was born that way. I've been taking up for people less fortunate than me. That's why I tell you guys, in my first marriage, we took in kids. Primarily on my ex-wife, now ex-wife, side of the family, and they lived with us. Why? Well, just like when I was in the church, there were 2 kids, brothers, Tez and KK. They stayed with us, raised them, they graduated, now they both live up in the Dallas area. They still good friends. Why? Well, they was young black men and they was having problems with their mom and bumping heads and doing crazy stuff, so they needed a male presence. I said, you can come live with me, but it's your turn to do the dishes, you gotta do the dishes. If you talk shit, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth, send you back home to your mama. Okay, we ain't got no problems. They came, lived with me for 4 years, graduated from school, and bam. Now they are good, God-fearing men, if you want to use that term. What's the point, Doc? What's the point? Well, they was in a position where they needed assistance. Just like I was in a position where I needed it. That is my position. I didn't choose it, it chooses me. So I don't do what I love, I do what loves me. Helping other people. There's somebody like, there's a person that I've been assisting, same thing on, about anywhere, let's see, last month was $3,000. Before that it was $5,000. Before that it was $10,000. I just helping people out. Why? No family, no relationship. They were just in a bind. Needed some help. Everybody that works for me is on my wife's side of the family, in college, working through whatever. So they, can you process your claim reports? Can you do this? Can you do that? Sure. Okay. Bam, and I pay them. $10.99. What's the point, Doc? What's the point? Underdog. What does that mean? People who need help. Now, remember we broke that down. We broke down transit vampires. And we broke down permanent vampires. I don't have permanent vampires. I do have transit vampires because I used to be a transit vampire. I was an energy sucker temporarily while I was figuring shit out. That's number 2. Once you fix your brain and establish a permanent position, unified field, then you establish your physical position, mental position, physical position. Number 3, bam, transition. The way that I help people transition is because I have a single standard or a single column of waves. If your mind is not single, if you are double-minded, you're not going to receive anything from source. It must be constant, it must be dominant, and it must be ruling disposition. You must know what loves you more than you love it. That becomes your mind-shifting message. When you do those 3 things, you vibrate and you are a magnet. So the real law is the law of magnetism. None of the other laws trump the law of magnetism. Tomorrow, we break down the law of magnetism. I love you, appreciate you. We're going to start at the top. God bless.